This week on Gettin Deep, we interviewed someone with dissociative identity disorder. Man, that's a tongue twister to say. What it also means is someone with multiple personality disorder. Someone that has multiple personalities in their head fighting for control of their body or sometimes even taking over control of their body. You would have seen this in movies such as Fight Club, Split, or Me, Myself, and Irene. And this has been a type of person I've wanted to ask a million questions to so many times over. It's such a weird thought to imagine there's many people inside my brain trying to take control. So I've really, really wanted to interview someone that has been in that situation for, in this case, most of their life.
Hi, my name is Briddie Wilde, and I'm here today to talk to you about living with DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder. Now, I want to start by giving you a disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. I have not done any counselling as a traineeship. All I have to share is my learnings and from lived experience. I also think it's important to give you a trigger warning. I will be discussing some hardcore confronting issues that involve domestic violence, child sexual abuse, drug abuse, and a lot of difficult things to talk about. But I hope to be able to give it to you in a clear way that hopefully won't be too distressing for you. Should also include in there'll be some suicide ideation. But other than that, everything should be fine.
Sweet. Nothing that hasn't been spoken about in this podcast before and joked about. So that'll be pretty useful. I think the listeners will be fine.
I think the joking part is a big part of an expression. I think a lot of people with a trauma in their childhood have a joker inside them. I'm noticing in the comedy scene there's a lot of trauma in childhood history, and I think it's a way of coping with shitty stuff that you had to grow up with.
Yeah, I think finding funny things and bad things is kind of my way of dealing with a lot of stuff. It's helped me a lot in my life, and it leads to like a pretty sick sense of humour, but it's fun.
The darkness has a place.
Yeah.
The darkness definitely has a place.
So I guess my first question to do with multiple personality disorder, it means you've literally got multiple personalities that are inside your brain.
Yes.
And they will actually like take over your body and go do other things in your life without you knowing about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been diagnosed with DID for just under 2 years now. But I do believe that I was building up the understanding of it for a good couple of years before that.
Yeah.
I've travelled some hard roads, and it was with my own understanding that I took it to the psychiatrist and said, look, I think this is what's going on. And he went, yeah, right, I love you, right.
Yeah. So how long do you reckon you had it before you kind of got diagnosed?
All my life.
Oh, okay, cool. So you like since you were like a kid or?
DID usually develops from a childhood disorder.
Okay.
It's about the compartmentalisation of the brain and how you deal with stuff. And that trauma has usually occurred before the age of 7. And it's through that trauma that you have it.
So usually before your memory is really working.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because like for me, I remember some stuff when I was like 4, but there's like one thing. And everyone I speak to, it's like before 5, there's nothing. So if you're saying at 7, it's kind of like everything that happens before there is where that's kind of like it's happening.
Psychology, psychiatry generally accepts that most of our personality traits are well established by the time we're 7 or 8.
Geez, that's concerning. That can be some pretty rough years for kids, especially when like parents that have kids that shouldn't have had kids.
My parents shouldn't have had kids.
Yeah, well, them first few years is like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is rough. So how many different personalities have you kind of found inside yourself?
When this question was first posed to me, the number that automatically popped out of my mouth was 32.
Jeez, okay.
I have not met them all.
Okay, so like
some of them are still in the dark.
So when you say there's like 32 personalities and you met some of them, does that mean that they will kind of like be in control at the same time, like kind of like a co-pilot?
Co-piloting is more like being co-conscious.
Yep.
And that's where I am now.
Okay.
That I don't have the amnesia walls necessarily between the ones that I operate with on a daily basis.
Yes, but amnesia walls, you mean like you black out and they take over completely?
Yes, amnesia walls. Amnesia walls is like amnesia. There's 2 things that are really distinctive in DID. Amnesia walls is one of them. And it's part of your brain creating a wall to protect you from traumatic memories, whether they be physical or emotional.
Yeah.
It often tends to separate. Like one part of your personality will hold the emotional part, another part of your personality might hold the physical part. But the other part that is very obvious with DID is the loss of time. Time is a big issue. So that
I think there's the best movie that I've watched that will make me understand this a lot is like Fight Club, because that's exactly what's happening in Fight Club. He's losing his sense of time because he has this job where he's on these flights, and then he loses the exact point of when he isn't doing things.
I've referred to this as chronological memory loss.
Okay.
That in order to attach to a memory, to find a memory, I have to visualise the place of that memory, the location, and then through that location, I can backtrack through my chronological memory to give a time frame to it, and then I can build the memory from there.
Okay, so you can kind of like, if there's a bit missing, like you've had like an amnesia wall come up and you've lost 3 hours, you can go back to the place just before that and kind of backtrack your way through trying to build the memory back.
Yes, we build the walls on either side. Here I was to start with, here I was to finish.
Yeah.
It's my memory often works as a semi-photographic.
Yeah.
That a lot of stuff happens in like photo shots, more so than video shots. So it's more like snapshots.
Yeah, yeah. And so when you kind of build that memory back where you've lost a chunk, does it feel really weird? You're like, I remember that happening, I remember doing this, but you're like, that wasn't what I'd normally do. That isn't what I am like. That isn't. Does that kind of happen?
I had, as I've processed my trauma and I've been stepping further back in my memory, I've actually got back to about 12 months old.
Okay.
It's my first trauma memory. And prior to that, as I've gone along the stages over the decades, I've had, like, I could only remember until the age before, nothing before the age of 10, or then nothing before the age of 8, or nothing before the age of 7, 5, 4.
So you're kind of like building all the way back.
For what you said. And as you process those traumas, the memory walls drop down. So you actually have big blanks about your personal history until you work through each of the steps, like roadblocks.
Yeah, so say from like 20 to 40, you'd have all these walls that were built up that took spaces of your memory, and then when you've processed it back from when you've like got rid of the trauma as a kid, those memories all come back.
Some of them, yeah.
Wow, okay, that's crazy.
So you need to get through one roadblock before you can get to the next roadblock, before you can get to the next roadblock, before you can get to the next roadblock.
But you kind of have to fix it at the start to get it back.
Yeah, you've got to start with what's closest to you before you can get to the back.
Yeah, okay. And so like when you do get them memories back, that where it was like the other personality has kind of taken over and done whatever they've done, is it weird? Like, do you look at them and go, that's not normally what I'd do, that's not normally who I am? Is that what kind of happens, or?
When you got the amnesia walls, yes.
Yeah.
Before you know what's clearly going on, yes.
Yeah.
There's might be like little memories, like again, if you've had been blackout drunk in the morning, you get, oh, I was here, I remember seeing that. What was the last thing I remember? Where was I?
I get a habit of writing notes when I'm blackout drunk. So I'm like, hey, I need to remember something, and I'll write it, and I won't remember it, and then randomly I'll find the note in my phone. I'm like, oh. And then I'll have a little story, and then things come around it, and I'm like, ah.
That's considered one of the techniques for recovering memories, yes.
Yeah, like writing notes?
Yeah. When you're trying to map out who you are, your personality parts, then having a book where you record where you are, what you're doing, it helps you to look back to see, oh, this part of me was operating then, or that part of me was operating then. As I've gone back and looked at some of my old journaling, even the handwriting changes.
Yeah.
Even handedness, right-handed, left-handedness changes.
So some of those personalities that are in the dark, you were saying, they're ones you think that like are refusing to kind of come forward? Or refusing to do the journaling and like kind of write the notes and stuff?
I think I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, okay.
There's parts of it that just don't want to talk to you, don't want to communicate, fuck off, none of your business.
Okay, yeah.
Don't want to go there. That's Pandora's box. Please do not open that.
Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense to me. Sorry for laughing. That's me laughing at something in my own head. So
Pandora's box is actually a really good Greek reference.
Yeah, I know all about it.
The opening of the Pandora's box and all the horrible things that come out.
Yeah. As you think there's going to be great treasure, but actually it's the worst.
But you kind of have to face it. If you want to get through it, you have to look in that box. You have to face your shadow.
Yeah, yeah. And so what, in the last 2 years, like you said, you got diagnosed 2 years ago, did they just instantly try and give you a bunch of medication and go, this is what you've got to take to try and stop it, or?
No.
Okay.
DID cannot be medicated.
Okay.
There is no medication that's shown to assist in DID.
Okay.
Prior to the diagnosis, over the years, I've been on some heavy-duty antipsychotics, and that has helped in so much. It was not good, but it was the best of what was available to me at that time.
So was that before they got you with DID? They were like, you're just got something else, we're going to medicate you with antipsychotics.
My first lots of diagnoses, big word, diagnoses, occurred when I was 26.
Okay.
And that came about as a result of reporting the childhood sexual abuse that occurred to me.
Yep.
And I had to go.
Because you went and exposed it, then it came.
I spoke to the police, and I was sent to a forensic psychiatrist at the time. And as part of that process, I was diagnosed with a number of mental health disorders.
It's a weird process. I feel like if you go to the police, they instantly like, here, we're going to give you a psychiatrist. Now you got medication. Here, get rid of it. Like instead of.
I'd been to see some psychologists before then. I'd been
and you didn't get the same results?
Psychologists can't prescribe. Psychiatrists will prescribe, and psychologists are not allowed to prescribe. That's the difference between psychiatry and psychology.
But a psychologist didn't want to refer you to a psychiatrist?
They can only deal with what you present.
Okay. Oh, because you hadn't presented that yet. Yeah.
My first psychology trips were around bulimia.
Okay.
And not feeling very well. I was having regular meltdowns, and I had alcohol issues at the time. And, I knew I needed help, and that was basically the only place that there was any help, and it's still often the case.
And that was before you were 26, you decided to go to a psychologist. I guess that's a bonus. It took me till I was like 32.
I think I was in... I'd have to be in my early 20s when I first saw a psychologist.
Yeah, and you were like, I need help. Someone's got to understand this.
Yeah, please help.
Yeah. Did you find it was helpful then?
I have mixed feelings over psychology.
Yeah.
I have spent an awful lot of money to have professionals listen to me whinge and vent.
Yeah.
Without a lot of guidance, without a lot of education.
So it's kind of like you're like, I've done this, but I'm not going anywhere.
And you get stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
And depending on...
That's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I could be here for ages telling you the same crap, but I don't really...
And when you are fully aware that you've got child sexual abuse, so I never... started occurring when I was 12. And so I never had a memory loss of that abuse.
Okay.
So a lot of my... dealings with my psychiatric psychology situation has been based around the child sexual abuse. And it's only with the understanding of DID that my brain function changed much before then. It occurred because there was violence, domestic violence, alcohol abuse in my family of origin.
Yeah.
When I was little.
Yeah.
Maybe you should talk about dissociation. What dissociation? DID stands for Dissociative Identity Disorder.
Yeah.
Now, dissociation is faking out, basically.
Yeah.
And
letting the other personalities take over kind of thing.
We'll slow that down a little bit.
Yeah.
Regular people, normals, singles, non-multiples, we the community call singles. Yep. I call them normals.
Yep.
And I don't mean that with, what is normal? Well, I'm a long way from normal.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a long way from normal, and I've written poetry to that effect. My experiences are a long way from normal, and the way I operate is not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're trying to relate to someone that has no idea about any of that, is it really bad to say they're normal and you're...
It's a bit like, this is interesting, and it goes to a little bit what we were talking before. We all think we're normal.
I don't think I'm normal, so...
But growing up, even though you might think you're a bit different and you don't fit in, you are your normal.
Yeah, normal for me, yeah, but not normal for other people. Yeah,
you are your normal.
Yeah.
And generally, you might have some discomfort with some of your own personal behaviours, but you genuinely, well, that's me, fuck it. Deal with it or not.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, fuck off. Not my business.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And it's only through discovering that often when you've got those kind of behaviours, you end up in social isolation. And that happens for protection purposes, that you're sick of being judged and looked at like a crazy person. It also happens for me to protect others, that I know that I can flip. And then when that flip comes out, not so bad now, but that part could take over for days, weeks, months, years.
Really? Like, have you had like extended periods where it's been?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what was like the longest for you?
I could tell you 6 months
Really?
in psycho mode.
Really?
Yeah.
So like, and that's like a different identity kind
Very angry, very aggressive, very brutal in vocabulary, in attacking.
Yeah.
And it's actually a protective mode.
Yeah.
It's called in the understanding of persecutor protector, and they're operating in a way to try and prevent that nasty world getting to you.
Yeah.
But it backfires. It becomes sabotage behaviour.
It goes the opposite because you're just so aggressive that everything's bad, right?
And then you come out the other side and you think, oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God.
Yeah. So 6 months is a long time to be like in that situation. A question that came into my head, because there's a movie, what was it? I can't remember. No, actually, this was a story I heard from my auntie when I was a kid. This wasn't a movie at all. This was what I actually got told. So my auntie told me when I was a kid about this friend that she had that had exactly that, had DID and multiple personality disorder, and she said he went to jail because he set someone's lawn on fire because they were a pedophile. That was the reason he went to jail. But he had like 5 different people in his head, and one of them was a kid, one of them was a girl, and his voice would change. He would turn into a completely different person. They all had their own names. And
clothing would change, posture would change, gestures would change, speech patterns change, yes.
yeah, and she said when she was chatting to him, like, what happened? Like, why'd you go and do that? He's like, oh, I didn't do it. And it was like the kid. He was blaming the kid, whoever it was. And I remember being like, wow, that seems completely ridiculous. Like, that's a kid, you hear that and you're like, that's not real. No way that's real. But I guess my question, the thing that popped in my head was like, do your different personalities have different names? Or are they always you? Oh, really?
Yes. The D&D is specifically that there's actually different identities. I think multi-personality disorder and dissociative identity disorder, I don't think either of those terms are quite correct in my the way I travel. I think a more appropriate would be the multiple identity disorder.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's not just the personality that changes, it's the whole identity that changes.
Everything, yeah.
The crew that travel with me on a regular basis, I have, they're various ages, and some of them are very analytical, very logical, very non-emotional. Some of them are extremely emotional. Some of them are very little, the trauma is just a lot. And often when that part is going on in your mind, that part can just cry and cry and cry and scream, silent screams inside your head. And you're like, please help, somebody find me, please help, like a lost child. And that can be very confronting. And that often leads to the suicide ideation, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. So do you hear that as a different person in your head? Or do you hear it as just yourself and like getting taken over by that identity?
I didn't know how much I jumped, I'll call it jumping, between different splits.
Okay.
The idea of split personality, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, is classic multiple. And I have more than that. And I think most people do. The way I describe mine in technical terms, it's called the inner family system. And we all have it. We all have a part of our brain that is the hypercritical. My one's called snark. And she's
snark?
Snark.
Like snark, yep.
Snark,
Yep.
which comes direct from Lewis Carroll.
Okay, yep.
And that part is the part that gives most people with confidence issues a hard time. Everybody has it.
It's the little bastard in the back of your head going, you suck,
Yeah.
you suck, yeah.
And when I was told about this part of my personality being running the show, that was when I realised, oh gosh, and that was sabotaging everything. And that's the part of your brain that says, what a fuckhead are you? Really? How the fuck did you think that was going to work out? Seriously? Oh my God, what a fucking dickhead.
So like kind of running it from the background, not as the forefront, kind of like a...
Most people have it running in the background.
Yeah.
For me, I call it programs. I think there's a couple of ways that I can describe it that is really layman's terms. And part of it goes through how I've travelled and come out the other side. If you can imagine my 32 personalities being a jukebox
Yeah.
with 32 music discs,
Yeah.
ranging from heavy metal to old country to rock and roll to Beethoven, whatever the fuck. Now, if you've got that jukebox and you go through a step, a lead, for example, to a 5-stacker CD player. For me, that CD player, you can press random, so you can go do, and you get different parts. That to me is multi-splitting. It's multi-skipping. It'll go from one section to another. So you can imagine like going from heavy metal to country rock.
Yeah.
Quite distinctive. But in that case, only one disc is running at a time. But all the fives are actually spinning at the same time. So you could be all...
Going at once, yeah, but only one's really...
But only one's going through the audio.
Yeah.
Only one's going through the speakers.
Yeah.
Only one's being heard. And if we take that a step further, and this is the process that I've gone through as I'm defragging, then if you can imagine those 5 discs now laid out on a DJ table.
Yeah.
A 5-disc table.
You know, all playing at once. If you...
5 turntables. And now you've got control over the volumes.
Yeah.
And Briddie, the person who owns my body, that signs the paperwork, that owns my car, that drives my car, all those things, I'm the DJ.
Yeah.
But my personalities, those other discs, also have DJ ability.
So they can take over sometimes.
So like at a rave, you got to swap DJs out. When somebody gets too tired or when it's a different job or it's a different, Sunday morning music is different from Saturday night music. So I've had to learn to be a very master DJ.
Yeah, to make sure that you're always in control of the rest of them so they don't take over for too long or too
Because when you don't know what's going on, when you're not co-conscious, they all think they're a DJ.
Yeah, okay. And so is there ever times where like DJ references kind of make me think where they just come in and out for like a minute and then go, or like...
Exactly like a multi-disc DJ, you might get a sample.
Yeah.
I have a little, her name is Misty, she's about 3 years old, and she speaks in single word sentences. Water, walk, wheeze.
Yeah.
Very much like a little one. Window, wants the window down in the car. And and short, sharp, little words, little sentences. So yes, that's like sampling.
Okay. And that will just pop out of nowhere and then it's gone again. Okay. I mean, that's kind of like a kid. That's what they do. Yeah, that makes sense. So obviously it was a detriment to your life. That's why you tried to figure it out, get it sorted and everything. What's kind of been like the benefits in the last 2 years you've noticed since like you've got more control of it all?
The amnesia wars are there to prevent you reliving the traumas.
Okay, like from the past.
From the past.
Yeah.
And they don't like to let go easily. Having to push some of those amnesia walls down, becoming co-conscious, I can actually have internal conversations externally.
Okay, yeah. So people will see it and they're like, what's going on?
I tend not to do it in public scenes,
Yeah.
but I can feel it.
Yeah. So if you know what's coming on, you're kind of like, I'm going to go home now.
It's not so much feeling it coming, I can feel my body change. I can hear. The thing that made it most obvious to me was the shift in voice patterns.
Okay, like your
shift in
personal
tone.
voice patterns.
My personal, my audio, hearing what's coming out of my mouth.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's wild. Like, you don't notice it from your thought patterns, but you notice it from what you're hearing you doing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So words can come out of my mouth and I have to ask myself, who's saying that? Most of it I don't have to ask because I know the pattern, the voice-speech pattern to know the identity.
Yeah.
And the therapy that I've had in recent time is about making me, Briddie, the bus driver.
Yeah.
And the other personalities are sitting in my bus and they're not allowed to drive. They have to work through me now, not take over me.
Yeah, yeah. So they can give you some directions, but they can't like get out of the steering wheel. I'm taking over.
Oh, they try.
Yeah.
They try. There's more than one of the personalities that are fully capable of driving.
Yeah.
And I think there's no issues with driving the bus off the cliff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you obviously don't want them in the.
No. But you've got to remember that they're as dangerous and sabotaging they are. They've worked apart for a reason.
Yeah. Well, you haven't like they've obviously helped you get to wherever at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the prognosis is for kids like me. I think we need to talk a little bit about the sexual abuse here. Childhood sexual abuse is far more common than people actually realise.
Yeah.
That 1 in 5 boys and 1 in 3 girls in the schoolyard today
That's messed up.
are suffering sexual abuse.
That's like a lot.
So that's 1/4
Yeah.
of you stand outside when you pick up your kids and look around. 1/4 of those kids are suffering sexual abuse.
That's to think that's going on is mental to me. It's like it doesn't surprise me from what I've kind of noticed about the world, but it's still bullshit. Like that shouldn't be happening.
And as a kid, you keep the secret.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always more powerful people than you, right?
You are subject to everybody.
Yeah.
You have no control, and that you bond to your primary carer for better or worse.
Yeah.
And it's that's when, as a teenager, you start acting out with the alcohol abuse, the drug abuse, the aggressive behaviours. The teen parts can be quite aggressive and very much fuck you-ness.
Your teen parts, is that what you're saying? Or just like as any teenager kind of like is suffering from it?
In my interpretation, I think even normals have teen parts.
Okay.
In my interpretation, I think a lot of people actually operate on their teen parts.
Like people just haven't really grown up, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. And that when they come to a confrontational point, then fuck you, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
No, fuck off. And that's very much a teen part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you ain't the boss of me. You ain't my mum.
I still do that sometimes.
So that's the teen parts being defiant.
Yeah. Okay. And so there was obviously I took you off track. I think you were saying like 1 out of every 5.
1/4 of kids.
Yeah.
And the prognosis for kids with child sexual abuse is not good.
No, I can't imagine it would turn out well.
And basically the psychiatric system prognosis, and I learned this when I did some community studies in my late 20s, is that the expectation is to be a drug addict, a whore, a mental patient that's locked up forever, suicide. And there's a 5th one that I can't think of right now. But the expectations are not good.
Yeah.
And when you consider that 1/4 of all the kids are going through this secret part in order to protect themselves, we all know the foster system's fucked. And that to go into that system, there's likelihood of more abuse.
It's probably going to happen again.
So it becomes a childhood dilemma of the devil you know, the devil you don't.
Yeah.
And it's not uncommon for child abuse survivors to still be bonded to their abusers even into their 20s.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I was going to say, like, I don't see how you could, but then I guess it's like if you've been tricked, I guess, into believing that that's kind of okay or that didn't happen or whatever, you kind of...
Where this part comes in psychology, it's in what's called the attachment schema. It's how you attach to your parents.
Yeah, I know about this.
And if you've grown up in a family where there's alcohol or drug abuse, you tend to have a disorganised attachment. And this is directly to DID. And it's about having internal conflict between love and hate for the people that are blood to you, people that are family, that you still have this part of you that has this imaginary love for the toxic parent. And that's where the switches come in. I love you, I hate you.
Yeah.
Two extremes that it's very difficult for a brain to comprehend and accept and process, and therefore the brain splits.
One of my kids is like, that's his like go-to. It's like, hate you or I love you. Like he's kind of like extremes of it. So it's kind of weird. I might have to monitor.
What was that bit?
Like I might have to monitor that in him just see if that's like a thing for later. Cause
For little ones, it's normal.
yeah.
For little ones, it's normal. There's a brain program that came out in the 70s, 80s, Edward de Bono, and he was all about hats. And what DID is about compartmentalisation. And normals, singles might have some understanding of having different hat. I've got my mum hat on today. I've got my worker's hat on today. I've got my social hat on today. And we go through different hats depending on where we are in the day. And that is a form of compartmentalisation. Some people that work in first responding industries and military are very capable of locking down that emotional part and dealing with the logic, or I've just been told, or this is the process, or this is the protocol.
That's what they do in the military. They compartmentalize your brain so you can go do the task at hand, even though it might not be what you'd normally do in your normal life.
And then when they come home and they're no longer in a high-risk situation, their fight and flight situation is not on full alert, then they fall apart. The nightmares come, the night terrors come, the thrashing in your sleep, the alcohol, drug abuse, and the disconnection from the loved ones.
Yeah.
Lights are on, no one's home.
And I think we said before we started the podcast that nightmares is kind of where you started to notice where you're like, this isn't right.
Even as a kid, I had nightmares.
Yeah.
And that were related to my abuser.
Yeah.
And it's the way of the brain trying to process.
Yeah.
I can clearly remember the dream of him being a Viking and coming in and raping and pillaging the village.
Yeah.
He was very Viking-like in his appearance. Would often wear the two braids in his beard,
Yeah, so
or in his hair.
Your brain was obviously going like, try to make it look like it's not real because it's a, TV show as opposed to what's actually happening.
Yeah, and that's trying to, in my brain, trying to run away and hide under the bushes or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, knowing that, there's something going on, but still having to wake up, and that's the same person that's making me breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty shit house. So that was where you kind of went, was your brain like blocking it out before the dreams, but your dreams is where you're remembering it, or were you kind of like, you remembered it all kind of stuff?
I never forgot.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
As far as the sexual abuse is concerned.
Yeah, but then later on down the track, it's
I'm separated even now from the body trauma.
Yeah.
That I have of my teens. I have Missy and Tommy. And this is as to the gender part. And it's not uncommon. They're twins in my inner family. And Missy took the physical abuse. The emotional abuse. And Tommy took the physical abuse. And for DIDs, it's not uncommon to have this male part. And the idea is that because a male part doesn't have a vagina, then he can take the trauma.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
He can take the punishment and protect Missy from that.
Yeah.
So I have memories of the events, and I have memories of how often it occurred, but at the same time, they're still disconnected. Tommy is still protecting Missy from the physical abuse.
Yeah. So that's how they've kind of like separated it inside your brain. Then, so they'll come back every now and then, or they're always there?
Missy and Tommy are with me all the time.
Yeah. And
all the time.
Do you hear like different voices in your head? Or is it always like it's your same, like, or do you even hear like voices, or do you just have your brain like work? Like, I know some people have like an inner dialogue and some people don't.
I think most people have an inner dialogue.
Yeah.
I think most people do.
Some people don't. It's very weird because to me, I can kind of...
I saw recently on Dr. Phil that we speak at 121 words per minute and we think at 1,221 words per minute.
Yeah.
Our brains actually run 10 times faster than we can actually speak.
Yeah, yeah.
And that... For me, actually speaking out loud has been easier for me to understand what's going on.
Okay.
I can actually have... Robin Williams, you used to see him that he'd do one side of the story and then the other side of the story.
Yeah.
Very much like that. The personality pops.
Yeah.
I looked at Robin Williams years ago and I thought it was bipolar.
Yeah.
And schizophrenia is the other one that pops in there, and most people think. The first time I saw it in real life for myself, oh my gosh, I still didn't even believe it.
Yeah. Well, when we first spoke about it, I thought what DID was schizophrenia. I thought that's what it was, but you explained to me I was very wrong. That's something else. Schizophrenia is just voices, isn't it?
For DID, it's internal voices.
Yeah.
For schizophrenia, they're external voices.
Oh, okay, yeah,
They're disembodied voices. They're friends that you're sitting out around
Like
the table.
audio hallucinations and stuff. Okay.
And visual.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's even way.
Whereas because they're internal, there's been less visual aspect to it, except in a mirror. I actually have a lot of mirrors in my house.
Yeah.
So many mirrors that makes most people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of mirrors.
And part of this disassociation is not, there's some body dysmorphia that goes on with this. So what you think you look like and what you actually look like can be different.
Yeah.
That's body dysmorphia. When I'm in Tommy mode, full Tommy mode, like I'm full Tommy, and he's a great guy. It's quite funny. The joke for Tommy, that he is a large, tall, gay guy
Okay.
that likes lesbians,
Okay.
trapped in an old lady's body.
Okay. Yeah. So so when you see yourself in the mirror,
So
or
if I'm in full Tommy mode, looking in the mirror, I don't have the female genitalia. I have what I call the Ken bump.
yeah,
I don't have a penis. I just have a Ken bump.
yeah,
No genitalia at all. And I think this is part of holding the trauma. By having no genitalia, then the brain can separate the physical violence.
yeah, yeah. And so when you look in the mirror, when you're in like full Tommy mode, are you like, this isn't me?
No, it's Tommy.
Because you know, okay, and you're not like I look different to what I'm seeing, or you kind of like, no, this is still like, this is it.
I'm now aware that they're all me.
Okay, yeah.
They are all me. They're all parts of my
But
personality.
before, like, if you're in full Tommy mode, like,
I wasn't aware how much I've visually changed.
okay, yeah. Because you wouldn't notice it because it's like with the
No, I just thought it was just different parts of my personality. Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I've got a bit of a tomboy side.
Yeah,
But it's more than that.
yeah, yeah. So it's like a full person, I guess.
Oh, yeah. My
identity
gestures
sort
change. My language changes. The things I talk about. Yeah, I'm very, very broken blokey.
Yeah,
You can talk about cars and bikes. Does all the in my domestic life. Tommy does my outside work.
Yeah.
And Missy does my inside work. She's very domestic. She does the cooking and the cleaning.
and so it's like, obviously, you said you don't like if they're. I'm just keep thinking about the bus, like you're driving. You kind of like, oh yeah, you can put your hand on the wheel and kind of take over for a bit, or you're always like, no, you can just hang out in the passenger side and kind of help.
My recent therapy says I must drive.
Yeah, okay.
That they're not. I'm not to rely on them to do my shit.
Yeah,
And that they have to work through me now, not over me.
yeah,
And before I come to this point, my shell, my Briddie, was actually very thin. There wasn't much of it.
yeah,
It was just these parts. I consider myself no longer broken. For many years, I thought of myself as broken.
yeah,
And then I started looking at my life and thinking, well, there's some parts that, yes, I don't conform to the norm. But now I consider myself a beautiful mosaic.
yeah.
I put all the pieces back together.
Everything together with the yeah, okay.
So the therapy over the last 2 years has been, 12 months, 2 years, has been primarily to strengthen my primary, Briddie, my shell, the one that it does all the decision making. And I'm allowed to ask for advice from the others and support. And, there's certain jobs that are definitely their tasks and that I give credit to them. But I have to be the one that's in control.
Yeah,
That it's not fair to expect a 12-year-old to be able to deal with the world,
yeah, yeah. On their own, obviously. Yeah,
even though they think they can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I remember thinking I could as well, so makes sense. So I get So do you hear like? Obviously, I keep thinking about the bus. If I was driving a bus and there's a bunch of people in the back of the bus, I would hear them speaking. Is that kind of what it's like, or is it?
It depends on what kind of bus driver you are.
Yeah,
And I actually have been a bus driver. I actually have been a school bus driver.
yeah,
And I have the bus driver's voice, and that's part of what we're hearing today is Miss Jane's voice. And I know that my bus driver's voice is a bit like the mother voice. that, well, Darcy Kavanagh, what have I told you about that?
Yeah. Like the voice of reason.
The voice of you will listen,
Yep,
authority,
okay, yep.
voice of authority. Keep your elbows there, no hands out the window. Turn that music down. These are the rules of the bus, and you will abide by the rules while on the bus.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the crew that's up on the back seat that are trying to have a cigarette or do whatever the thing, and mucking around or playing with each other or whatever it may be. But in the past, those crew, fuck it, my bus. You're sleeping. No bus driver here.
Yeah.
Keys are in the bus. I'm going to drive.
Yeah. And do you, like, so that's when they're obviously taking over and you'd lose however many minutes, days, months. Yeah.
I must say here that everybody has some disassociation. Normals have about 50% disassociation. If you ever found yourself driving down the road and then, oh shit, where the fuck am I? That's disassociation.
Yeah. I've got to places and been like, I don't remember driving at all. Like, it's gone.
And that's the missing of time.
Yeah.
A time slot. And that's normal. The difference between schizophrenia and DID is that schizophrenia is on the personality disorder spectrum, which is borderline personality, narcissistic personality disorder, schizophrenia, and psychopathy. DID is actually on the dissociative spectrum, which from the top end is the DID. There's ONSDD, which is otherwise non-specified DDD, which is having the different personality parts, but all one name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
For the purposes of inner family systems, a lot of the girls that I know that are dealing with this have little Briddie or adult Briddie or teen Briddie.
Like different ages of the same person. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're able to distinguish by an age, which is not uncommon. Then the back step down from there is PTSD. And in there should also include complex PTSD, which is not actually made it on the diagnostic books yet, but it tends to be that there's so much going on, so much trauma that it's just, it's like having a whole face full of acne and only popping one pimple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work. You need deeper treatment.
Yeah.
And then at the soft end is daydreaming. There's the creative aspect, being in the flow. If you're writing or painting or doing whatever is your creative aspect and you lose track of time, oh shit, where did that go? That's the soft end, the healthy end of disassociation.
Yeah, because it's like just going into a focus zone of getting things.
And we need to vague out often. That some people live work drudgery lives.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to vague out when they're doing their shit. We have watched TV to bubble gum our eyes. We listen to music to bubble gum our ears. By having that external noise, it shuts down some of the internal noise.
Well, that's how I used to go to sleep, so it makes perfect sense. Literally, the easiest way for me to go to sleep was death metal on. I used to have friends come over when I was like a teenager, and they're like, you can't put this on while you're going to sleep. And I was like, this is the only way I'm going to sleep, is if I've got death metal playing. That often I won't sleep.
Which suggests that you've got a lot of noise inside your head.
Oh, yeah, they don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't.
And when this was all unravelling for me, there was a bit of a domestic violence situation that I was starting to unravel. I've come off a heap of the antipsychotic meds. The meds were actually preventing me from dreaming, preventing real sleep issues. And I've had to push through and embrace the trauma in order to get connected again, to break down the amnesia walls, to build... another image that I have is like, if you're on a seesaw and you're on a seesaw by yourself, bang, 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 no fun.
Yeah.
And then you've got a friend that wants to be more dominant, so we're doing bing, bang, bing, bang. But you can be on the seesaw by yourself and you can be in the middle in the balance and be all right. And you can be on the seesaw with a friend and start doing flips if you're a real astronaut. So that's all part of making or creating...
like an easy community in there, I guess.
It's called integration.
Integration. Okay, yeah. That's a good word for it, yeah. And do you ever find that, like, some of the personalities will be fighting by themselves? Like, separate? Like, I guess, like, I keep thinking, like, as you mentioned, the bus is a really easy way for me to go back and look at this. It's like, say there's two people at the back of the bus or two personalities at the back of the bus, identities, having an argument that's not really you involved in it.
Oh, we can have the stereo up on two different seats. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Is that like that
death metal
happens?
on one and country rock on the other, and competing for noise. Yeah.
Jeez, okay. It's like, is that stressful?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your sleep, is it stressful having all that noise?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned to deal with it.
But it's stressful, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've learned to find ways to make it useful. You know, like if there's a lot of noise, it's like it's because there's something that needs to be done. Like I don't like not doing stuff. I'm very easily agitated if it's like, hey, why don't you relax? And you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, what, you want me to sit here and just yeah?
Inability to sit and find peace is actually a trauma response.
Yeah, I've heard that. But I like it. It's good. It makes me get shit done.
Yeah, it makes you feel productive.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like it makes you think you're building confidence.
Well, I like
That part of that internal critic that if you're not doing anything, oh shit, I'm being lazy. I fucked up. I've done nothing today. I'm a piece of shit. I haven't even brushed my fucking teeth. What the fuck is wrong with me that I can't even do the simple basics?
I don't get to a point where it's like you're a piece of shit. You and are not doing things. It will be more like you could have done more. Like you
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
You could have done more. Like what are you not like? Come on.
And that's pressure to perform. And
Yeah.
that's a trauma response.
Yeah. My psychologist. I was like, I don't want to dig into that. I'm good. I like that. It makes me do. I like. It's kind of a useful thing to me because it makes me do more, and I like getting stuff done. Like I like appreciate that because I think it's helped me out a lot in my life. I've had like not a very good support system ever. So it's always been me having to get everything done for everyone else. So having that like internal person being like, do it, man. Don't be lazy. And then being like, you should have done more. You could have done more. Go and do it. It's I find it useful.
There's a whole heap of brain mechanisms going on. And part of what you're describing is I've got ADHD as one of my diagnoses. And I recently learned that ADHD specifically is a switch in your brain that is cross-wired. And the way that I can describe this is that you've got your foot on the pedal and on the brake at the same time.
Doing skids.
No, burnouts, donuts.
Yeah.
And you find yourself doing that sometimes you're, fuck, where am I? What am I up to? Look, there's a rock. Oh, look, there's a fish. Oh, look, you walk through your room and pick up each thing as you go.
Yeah.
Because you're responding to that immediate environment. And the switch in the brain is actually cross-wired. So that when you've trying to be attentive, your body wants to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to relax, it's hyper.
Yeah.
It's actually a cross-wired switch.
I think for me, what I've found the way to like kind of solve it is burn myself out. Like make sure I'm doing a lot of stuff. Like if I'm doing a lot of stuff, then I'll be able to do the stuff. And then when it's time to like go to sleep, I can go to sleep.
That is what I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that if you're doing burnouts all day long and all night long in your sleep as well, because you're having to, all this activity going on, it puts a lot of stress on your body. Yeah, cortisols are actually running full belt, and you're not getting the neoadrenalines, the calm down chemistry is going on in your body. And if you think of a burnout car, then you're going to blow your diff, you're going to blow your gearbox, you're going to blow your brakes, you're going to blow your tyres, you're going to blow lots of stuff. And it shortens the lifespan of the vehicle.
That's probably going to happen. Compulsive binge drink. I'm probably shortening it pretty hard there.
It puts the whole body under stress.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like it's... Yeah,
and the only time you're timing out is when it's in the shop.
When what? When you're in shop?
When you're in the shop. Back in the workshop.
Oh, yeah, when you're fixing it up because you're damaged from it. Yeah. So what... Obviously 2 years ago, that's when you kind of got diagnosed for it. What was the step between not being diagnosed and going to diagnose? Like what triggered to get the diagnosis? Or what, like, was it just like you found the right psychiatrist, or there was something that...
I was already seeing the psychiatrist that I was diagnosed with.
How long before the diagnosis?
This particular psychiatrist, a couple of years.
Okay.
I've been with psychiatrists for a good 12 years, a different psychiatrist for a good 12 years before that. One of my early diagnoses was bipolar. My mother is actually diagnosed bipolar. And people often see the Jekyll and Hyde aspect of bipolar, of the switch in that, from being, the flat out and stop, which also is similar in the ADD. And it was actually, it's a funny joke, have you ever heard the saying that you just need to fucking decent slap and wake up.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what happened. I had a domestic violence situation, which I initiated because I could feel everything running off the rails. And part of the way that my system works is just leave me be. Give me the privacy to fall apart and put myself back together again. And I am in a danger mode. And it would do you best to leave. And the situation was that my partner was so worried and scared for me that he refused to leave.
Oh, so he was trying to be helpful and then...
Yes,
Yeah.
but he was just clinging me, which just made me more defiant. And it ramped up to a full-on domestic violence situation. I punched the fuck out of him and he hurt me. And I got a decent smack in the head. And after that, I wake up.
Yeah.
There was a certain amount of role play that was happening between us, between the submissive and dominant aspects of things. And I said to him, this is not a game. And I wasn't even aware at this stage, that once we step through this hoop, there's no stepping back. So the words were coming out of my mouth, even if I didn't understand what it was that I was saying.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, this person, he'd actually been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And even seeing it in front of my face, I saw this guy go through 6 personalities in a weekend. And I had
This was your partner at the time?
no, he was an associate,
Okay, yeah.
but was staying at my house and was doing some work at my house.
Yeah.
And that he stepped off his meds and started taking too many drugs, and so the personality started bouncing out. And I actually had CCTV footage of him at my front door, going over my fence at my back door, and you can look at this footage and you will swear it's 2 different people.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay, yeah.
That one was, a young lad, baseball cap, different, and the whole posture change. And even though I'd seen it, I still didn't understand that as DID. And he had been treated for schizophrenia, but his were actually internal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they got it the other way around. And is there medication?
I do believe is very common.
Yeah. Do they give you medication for schizophrenia, but they don't for DID? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Antipsychotics.
Okay. And that just kind of numbs you out anyway. That just makes
Pretty
you
much.
Yeah, sedated.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of what I've noticed with like all that kind of stuff. It's just like a...
and most people crave those medication to sedate you.
Yeah. Well, it's like Xanax and stuff is a pretty well-used drug for people to have fun with, supposedly. But like I know a few people that have been like in and out of mental wards, and they'll have stuff like that, and then they're just not the full version of themselves anymore.
Yes.
You're just like, you're half of what you were.
Yes.
And that's kind of, for me, I'm like, what the...
Yeah, and you see that with other drugs too.
Yeah.
Other drugs, other alcohol. That, mate, that's not the guy I knew.
Yeah.
That's not the person I grew up with. Whoever this is now is not the same. In my opinion, I think transgender is a form of multi-personality, that you've grown up with one identity and one gender, and then you've in another gender, that your body and your mind doesn't agree, and then you've moved into
The other
where your
identity.
mind space is.
Oh, it makes sense. Like, they're kind of like, that's it.
But that's really obvious to people because it's a gender aspect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious for you because you've got DID, like, so you understand the different things going on. But, like, so you're saying, like, do you think saying that someone that's transgender would think that that's true? They think, like, oh, no, this is who I've been forever. Because, like, a lot of them, like, this is who I am.
But there's still an identity difference between body dysmorphia, between what and how they feel, and the body, the shell that they live in.
Yeah, so you mean like they've had both these identities in there, but one's just taken the wheel of the bus per se. Like in your situation, they've taken it permanently, and that the person's way back at the identity's way back at the back.
I can't speak directly to that because I'm not transgender, even though I have a very masculine part of my personality. So I wouldn't want to speak for people who are transgender.
Yeah.
But I personally think that most people who are gay, which is separate from being transgender,
it's way different.
are very aware of it very young. That they're, and even those around them, I'm not surprised, when they finally get the bravery to disclose and come out of the closet. But that whole, I think
the thing with being gay is the same as being straight. Like, you get attracted to whatever you get attracted to. It is what
I think
it is.
sexuality is on a spectrum as well.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think there's a bell curve.
Yeah. Like it's there, and then there's in the middle, and it makes sense.
You know, straight at one end, gay at the other end, bisexual in the middle.
But I think, like, as you're saying, like, you know from very young if you're gay, like, that makes sense. You know very young if you're straight. Well, whenever you start noticing whoever you, like, find attractive, that's kind of where it is. And everyone I know that's gays, they don't turn gay.
No.
It's like they just, some people avoid it, even though it is there. They're like, no. But, like, it's, yeah.
And in that case, there's the version of living the down low. That somebody who is behaving straight and has a family and is butch and, will go out gay bashing, but has this other side that is quite happy to go out and suck cock in a park.
Yeah.
That's living the down low. Complete distinctive lines that they are aware of, but completely in denial to the external world.
Yeah. I remember the first time I met a gay dude with kids, and I was like, huh? How'd this happen? And he was like, I was married. I had kids, I just refused to believe that I was gay.
Wanted to be straight, wanted to be normal, wanted to fit in.
And then one day just went, no, I'm going to just accept it. And I was like, wow, that's, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was real. I think I was like 19 when I met that guy. And I was like, for me, that was a bit of an eye opener. I was like, wow, you realistically would have suffered. Like, I was like, it confused me so much to think that a gay dude had kids. And I was like, but you're gay. He's like, yeah, but I just kind of forced it. Like, you just made it happen. And I was like, okay.
I think for the parents of those kids, has a big influence, whether there's some acceptingness. I think the parents, I know for some gay guys that I've come across that their parents were completely disappointed that there would be no families, would be no grandchildren if you're gay.
Well, that guy was like 40 when I was 20, so he grew up in a generation where it was very unaccepted as well.
Yeah, and once you move into your 40s, you really do get a whole sense of, I don't give a fuck what other people think. You really do start to claim who you are.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So back to like DID, do you find that it's like a battle? Like now that you've kind of got control of it, or was it a battle before?
It has been, yes.
Yeah.
I remember as this part was starting to come through, as it was, I spent a lot of time walking. It's one of the grounding techniques as part of breaking out of disassociation. I'd been at the counsellor, and that was the first thing he said, 20 minutes walking every day. And I knew that I could space out, walk. I've got a safe place to do that. And I remember quite clearly hearing all these voices arguing and screaming and carrying on and wanting to be dominant, wanting to own the body. And I remember quite clearly saying, shut the fuck up, the lot of you, otherwise I'll drug you all.
Yeah.
And you don't like that.
Yeah. Is that like the antipsychotics you mean for drug use?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was one little part that says, I like them.
Yeah.
You shut up. We're not asking you. But it was about learning to timeshare.
Yeah.
That the way we operate is very much a timeshare situation. And it's now a coordinated team rather than everybody wanting to be the boss.
Okay. So I guess with that, I wouldn't say it's like co-pilot thing, because you said before, like, it's not co-pilots, but you're obviously driving the bus, and they're helping you. Are they just helping?
It's called co-conscious.
Co-conscious, okay, yeah.
Where I am now is called co-conscious. The fact that I'm able to communicate with the parts, and they can be able to communicate with me. They're able to express themselves. They're able to work together as a team. That they will part of building my shell Briddie up, making that part stronger, which was actually a request by my parts to my therapist. They wanted that part stronger. As far as I was concerned, at this falling apart stage, was that part of me, my mistress, the boss of me, was actually quite thin. There wasn't much to her, not much substance. And therefore, my inner kids did not feel safe. And that's why they kept jumping in.
Yeah. So, like, inside your head, it is like multiple, do they have different tones family. Inside, but they have different tones? Yeah.
And the interesting part of it too is there actually within DID there is a reasonably standard format of the different personalities that can present. Some people have vampires, some people have rock stars, some people have pirates. I have angel. So there's that part is reasonably distinctive, a spiritual body of some description or an immortal body.
So not like a human. Like,
Immortal, yes.
yeah, okay. What's that like? That's really interesting.
For me, it's having a divine connection to God.
Okay.
I actually have conversations with God, especially if I'm in a bliss space. The brain therapy has helped me to find the bliss button in my brain, so I can actually find happiness and peace and joy, which is very, basically it's like being on DMT. But it lasts for a lot longer. Once you hit that bliss button, it can flow on for days.
Really?
Yeah, it's beautiful, but without the crash, without the post-drug crash.
Yeah. So it's just like having drugs without drugs.
Yeah.
Wow. That's and for days, like, okay. And then you're fine afterwards. It's like all good.
It's interesting that there used to be a program for photos, and that you could put it on video, and there'd be the phase in, so there'd be the diagonal phase in, or the drop in, or the rain drop in. That's how it sometimes happens for me. Sometimes I can feel it bubbling up. Sometimes I can feel a drop. So it can be quite sudden, or it can be a blending.
Yeah.
I often run with a blend. Most people externally would hear me, my voice has changed, but not necessarily be able to identify which part of me is dominant at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're saying like the angel, and it's kind of like
I have animal parts too.
really,
Yeah.
like what happens then?
I discovered kitty cat more than a decade ago, and now people would understand that as being a furry. And that's creating a identity that is helps with social anxiety. And for me, the cat part is affectionate and friendly, but not necessarily sexual. It was how I got my comfort without breaching the danger zone of being in a sexual place. I have another part, and I have more than one cat, depending on my mood.
Oh, really? Like multiple cats?
Yeah, I have a whole range of different ears and different tails, and sometimes I can put on one set of ears and the other set of ears. Sometimes it's got like 2 ears at a time. Some days 3D ears, and that part came out from being a very little kid. I remember that when Cat first broke out, but it was only through hanging out with the FetLife crew that I discovered this part of my personality and was able to bring it forward and felt safe enough to actually be cat in public. It's helped with social anxiety, the furry aspect.
Yeah. I have you met Alex Flay, the comedian, by any chance?
I don't think so, no.
So he hates furries because he believes that furries are like they're hiding the things they're doing so they can do way more messed up things. Like that's his thought of it. I was like, I never thought of it that way. So it's
I would call that masking.
yeah, that's what he's like. He's like, stay away from furries because they are, they're putting on a costume so they can do more deviant stuff. So no one knows who else and get away with doing bad things.
It depends on what kind of furry you are. Yeah, there's good pets and bad pets.
Okay.
There's some, and it depends on the owner. Whether you got a shitty fucking dog that fucking attacks everything or a dog that is a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah.
It depends on who's got hold of the leash, how they've been trained.
Yeah.
And I would agree that what he says, it could be true.
Yeah. So you got a couple of cats. You got an angel. Is there any other animals?
I have a whale.
A whale. Okay.
Whale, and he's actually a star whale.
A star whale. What's that?
Star whale.
Star whale. Okay. Yeah.
And this part carries my sorrow, my grief. I've had so much stuff, and I've cried and cried. I've cried enough to fill the Nile River more than once.
Is that why it's a whale? Because it's in like lots of water.
Because it's wailing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't click that one. Yeah.
When that part of me comes out, the sorrow, it's just an awful sound. If you hear somebody that's in a state of grief, that sound, that wailing, it can cut through you.
Yeah.
And you can be heard from a long way away. And just a lot of helplessness about what to do with that person. And it's very difficult to get through somebody that's in deep sorrow, deep grief.
Yeah.
And I always said that I have too much of that inside of me, more than my little body can carry. And it weighs down on my body. It causes a lot of muscular pain. And by giving this as a star whale, if you can imagine Aboriginal imagery of a whale, off in the stars. And when I feel that sorrow bubble up, I can actually push that sorrow, like through a blowhole, to star whale. And star whale can go cruising through the universe. And the universe is a much bigger place and can handle that sorrow. And it's actually a way of externalising that pain inside me.
Yeah. So you can just give it to whale.
Give it to whale.
Yeah.
And he can go for a cruise through the universe and just do his thing. And, I don't have to carry it inside.
Yeah. So the angel one is like, it keeps coming back in my head. I got to ask more questions about it.
Well, there's an old cartoon of the devil and the angel on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And that's a classic personality aspect.
Yeah. So do you have a devil in there as well?
I have a fury.
A fury? Okay.
And I have a volcano.
A volcano?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't expecting, I was thinking like, yeah, okay. So what, like volcanoes obviously just like anger, everything.
Anger, aggression, everything rumbling inside.
Yeah.
Injustice, rage. Fury is very much like to me from the X-Men.
Oh, yep.
Fire and flame and explosions, and when that part comes out, it's very hard to row back in.
Yeah. And so is that more like, as opposed to like a voice, it's more of just all emotion, kind of action, kind of.
Most of it, there's in DID. There's they call some of it. It's called ANP, apparently normal persons.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all the ones with names.
They're the ones that come across as regular people.
Yeah.
Logical people. For me, I always thought of myself in parts. I always thought of it as emotional parts. There's the angry part, the sad part, the happy part, the funny part. And that's basically what's occurred in my world.
Yeah. And so you said you got the ANPs for like the normal identities.
Yeah.
So what would be like the angel, the cats, the volcano?
That angel personality gets involved in other people's bullshit. In high stress, difficult situations, places that other people would not involve themselves. Often around abuse, abuse disclosure, death, mistreatment, wanting to shine some light.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that's like when you refer to that, obviously.
And no fear. We'll enter into dangerous situations to try and mediate and settle out.
Yeah, and just like make everything awesome.
Try.
Yeah. Okay. And
very generous, very spiritual, very conscious, very empathetic.
Yeah, and as you said, like having like DMT just for days, that's what kind of what it feels like. What kind of stops you from going like you could just do that permanently then?
I don't think the brain chemistry can deal with it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it would just like burn you out or something.
Yeah, you can be on as like going for a rave. You can do 3 days, and that's it.
Yeah.
You got to come down sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what's like the volcanoes come back as well, because that's I'm trying to understand the concept of like that a volcano being a personality. Like, is it just noise or is it?
It's
like,
more emotion than a personality.
Yeah.
It's the rumbling of discontent. There's that almighty destructive. At the time of this domestic violence situation, I call it Kali up.
Yeah.
Which Kali is a goddess of destruction. She's a volcanic goddess.
Okay. Yeah.
In I think Hindi.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. And sometimes the way I see it is that the pendulum swings. And sometimes we get so far out of kilter that it goes all the way around.
Yeah.
And that's what I call Kali up.
Yeah.
That you fucking throw it all in the air and see where the cars lay.
So, yeah, when I guess when the volcano kind of takes over, or when it did take over in the past, you just see red. You can't think. There's no real thoughts going on. It's just
burn the world.
Yeah.
Burn the world.
Yeah, destruction and chaos. Okay, cool. That makes sense. I think I've been like pretty pissed off where I'm not thinking anymore. I've done that before. Is there anything else? Because I mean, that's a volcano. An angel was unexpected. Cats are unexpected. Volcanoes unexpected. I know there's 32 in there.
The other one is an inanimate object, and her name is it is gravestone.
Gravestone, yeah.
Gravestone, also known in psychology as grey stone. And if you can imagine that, if you're in a situation that you have a loved lost one and there is a literal gravestone, and you're in a place of confusion, that you will go and talk to the gravestone. And the gravestone can sit quite calmly quite coolly, quite logically. I'll just be there peacefully and listen. Can explain things with less of the emotionality, and just be there. It's quite interesting that I literally sit on the floor, cross-legged, when I'm in that mode, and I will sit back from people. When I've got that mode, it's quite an intense place when I'm in that mode. Yeah.
Kind of like you just like a meditating kind of thing, or
No, it's still connected.
yeah. So you just quiet, don't move.
Less judgy.
Okay.
You can tell a gravestone anything, and they won't judge you.
Okay. So it's kind of just like a personality, like you're the happiness of everyone. Like you can come and talk to me about stuff, and I'm gonna.
You can talk to me about. I have so many people over the years that I have been the first person that they've disclosed their traumatic experiences, their childhood abuse to.
Yeah.
And that part of me is that they can listen without judgment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been through it, so it'd be pretty hard to judge someone that's suffered the same.
Oh, I can be judgy.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's like if someone suffered the same as you, for you to judge them would be like, what the hell?
I think we all have our own journey.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that judgment has a place.
Yeah.
It has a protective place. I once heard Dr. Phil say, I've had quite a few Dr. Phil quotes over the years, that you can be a good Christian person and have a good heart and feel generous, but it doesn't mean you open your front door to a fucking murderer.
Yeah. I get that, but I mean, like when I'm saying judging, it's not like obviously that I call it
that judgment is a protective aspect.
Yeah.
And we all judge.
Well, I mean, if I think that's like just making a decision about a person whether you can continue hanging around them or not. But I see judging as being like you're going to project something to them as well. Like you think something about them, then you're going to tell them. Like
judging definitely comes from an internal point. Yes.
Yeah.
So we judge based on our own experiences.
Yeah, 100%. Own thought process. That's anyone that thinks they're judging from anything different is wrong. Like where can you judge from if it's not that? Or other people's thoughts that you've taken on as your own.
Yeah, and often when we judge, we judge from a point of feeling right. I'm correct.
Yeah. Oh, that's most of it, if not all of it. Imagine someone judging someone being like, "Oh, you're right,"
and often with less empathy.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what I think, what would be something if someone didn't think they had this or doesn't know they have it? What would kind of be something that, like you were talking about in the car, you're like when you drink, there's a different personality. When you smoke weed, there's a different personality. When you smoke meth, there's a different personality. What would be a trigger for someone to figure out that they might be kind of in a state of having like DID, like that might be something's going on inside them?
There's a couple of things. I recognised a long time ago that in my journaling, different handwriting, and often be double entendre in some of the words, that it might be misspelt, which means it can be interpreted in a slightly different way. I think of this as a layering. The shift in voices, in voice patterns, became really obvious to me. The shift in the splitting, that I could be angel in one mode and then at the next minute that all of a sudden you've pushed me too far and I'll throw you out the fucking door and I'll throw everything with it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me.
Like really quick to change. Yeah.
Split. And that another giveaway is talking about yourself in third person.
Yeah.
I'd noticed a long time ago that I would say we. And I was often saying it in relationship to me and my partner at the time. Oh yeah, we'll do that. Or we'll give you a hand with that. And he actually said to me, hang on, don't dob me in for that shit.
Yeah.
And then I've realised as it's gone by that we is also me. I am I, but I am also we.
Yeah.
I have both sides, depending on whether I'm in full personality as I or split co-conscious as we.
Yeah, okay. So sometimes like you just, I guess, collectively the family as opposed to just,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, people that kind of talk about third person.
Having more than one name.
Fuck. You're really giving me a list of things that I do here.
Having more than one name. My brother, he's been called Tree Man for many years. His name is very difficult to pronounce in English. It's a very old Irish name. And he was ragged on as a kid and given many other names. And so, and also Briddie. Briddie is a very difficult name for a lot of people to get around unless you've got that English-Irish background. And so you come up with nicknames for yourself.
Yeah.
And that the nicknames start to take hold of, that's who you are, depending on, again, the hats, whether it's, working, some people refer to themselves as mummy, when they're dealing with their kids.
Yeah.
Mummy this, mummy that. They're actually talking about themselves in third person.
Yeah, yeah. So I have something.
And that's normal.
Yeah. On that route, like, a lot of people know me as Darky. I know myself more as Darky than I do Darcy. It's a name that I've had forever, and that's kind of like who I am. But I was always like, oh, but Darcy's like businessman. That's when I'm doing work. That's when I'm doing what I got to do for, like, that's always going to be.
More grown up.
No, just like more professional.
Okay.
More professional.
I would call more professional, more grown up.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty grown up as being a piece of shit and the stupid shit I do as well. But like, that's professional, because I know that saying Darcy or Darky versus Darcy, that people are like, what? That's a weird name. And it's just like, we're avoiding doing my job. If we call me Darky, then I've got to talk about that as opposed to talking about some sales, trying to help them get what they want. And then in comedy, I was like, had that decision to kind of go like Darky or Darcy. And at first I was like, I'm Darky, that's who I am. That's what it is. And I had like a really pretty big internal argument about it, because some people see Darky as racist, which for me, I was like, that's not racist at all. But there's been people that are like, yeah, it is definitely racist. And I'm like, it's not. I'm white and I have other bloodlines in me. Like, I'm not. This isn't a hate word. Like, this is just a name. So it took me a while to kind of go like, who cares? They're both actually the same person.
Yes.
Who gives a shit what people call me? The reason you're called Darky is because you didn't give a shit what people called you. That's how that name came upon in the first place. So, yeah, that was a...
Well, in comedy, I introduced myself as B Wilde.
Yeah.
Because B is my initial for Briddie. And I often wear a B in some part of my outfit. And I use that as a memory cue for people. And, to be wild, that's a fucking cool name. But Briddie is really difficult for people to roll their tongue around and to remember. I used to say, for a very Australianism, to give memory clues, Briddie on a Friday.
Yeah.
You got to give somebody something to remind you to. And that's part of memory training that they teach you, to put an association to help you remember somebody.
Yeah.
But I often, even though I might call myself B, I often, when I'm particularly in public, have ears on and tail on, and because they see that, Kitty. It's really easy. Oh yeah, Kitty. So there's some people that only know me as Kitty. There was times when I was in the mess world, my name was Buttercup, because I didn't want to give people my real name.
Yeah.
I wanted some anonymity, and that got shortened to BC. So there's people that, they go chat Lamington and Muffin Top and, the other associations that people have.
Yeah.
So when you have an unusual name, and it also came from being a migrant, that we were taught to anglicise, to Australianise our names. My dad's name is Francis, but when he's been known as Frank.
Yeah.
When he came to Australia, it was very much, part of that. The 70s thing was to Australianise your name,
Make yourself seem normal.
To fit in, to assimilate.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess, I don't know if I have any more questions on it. I'm sure there is, because there's definitely like 1,000 things that went through my head before we started this podcast. Actually, I'll go back to the thing of like when you're saying you're drinking and you're kind of like,
oh yeah,
that's a whole different version.
Different drugs, different alcohols, different gateways to my different personalities.
Yeah.
That Missy is a real stoner.
Yeah.
I've been smoking weed since I was an early teen. It was part of the mind control that occurred with the abuse that keep me stoned. I was more malleable.
Yeah.
My teenage part.
Is that somebody else getting you into that?
Oh yeah, my stepfather.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That alcohol was also a part then. Again, keep me docile, keep me malleable. That my teen part, Mystique, she is a drinker. I had alcohol issues in my early 20s, blackout drunk. And you can tell when Mystique says she's quite flirty and sexual, and being a female to get into a blackout situation, put yourself in a lot of danger.
Yeah.
So that was something that I had to curb and control. And she would get pissed off and angry. A couple of drinks and one drink, two drink. Oh, I'm off. See you later. I've got control. I've got the bus.
Yeah.
and fucks the rest of you. You can deal with the outcomes tomorrow.
Yeah, and that would be like black you out. So that was it.
Yeah,
Gone.
should take over.
And just have full reign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The alcohol aspect, being blackout drunk is very much an amnesia wall. People have blackout rage,
Yeah, I've heard of this, yeah.
which is also an amnesia wall. And I noticed it particularly with alcohol, that you'd say to somebody, "Oh, you did that." "No, I didn't." Look,
Because you don't remember doing it.
because there's the footage and everything, and they'd still flat out deny.
Yeah. No, I've had that before. I've had someone show me a video and they're like, "Oi, check out this from last week," and I'm watching. I'm like, "What?" Like I don't remember any of that, but I'm watching it like, "Holy shit!" Like that's.
I would never
definitely
behave
me.
that way.
Yeah.
I would never behave that way. That's not me.
I don't know. I kind of like embrace it. I was like, "That's funny."
But there's this part of the amnesia walls that Buttercup came through, and basically that's Tommy, and that was dealing with the ADHD, unmedicated, and I think the current stats are about 30% of people with meth issues are actually undiagnosed ADHD, looking for some kind of self-medication. So different parts, and I've seen it with other people that different particular alcohols bring out different parts of my personality, different parts of their personality.
Yeah.
My first husband, he was not allowed to drink white spirits in my presence because it brought out a more aggressive, dominant part. My current fella, beer is banned. Because that part of him that pops out is aggressive and sabotaging and doesn't give a fuck about anybody, including him.
Yeah.
Very, very damaging and very difficult to put back in the box. Very dangerous. And I'm aware of those parts of myself. Seeing it reflected in others has made a big part of understanding it in myself.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've gone pretty long. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you
Is
very
there
much.
any final words you want to give everyone?
Anybody that's struggling with this stuff, I would like to say, don't be scared.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as what people actually think it is. You're not crazy. You just got a different brain function. And it's part of what's kept you alive. And the other thing I'd like to say that has made a significant difference in where I am now today is the brain therapy that I've had. I would like to put a plug in for Dr. Daniel Lane from Perth Brain Centre, Perth Brain Clinic. The training that he gives there is amazing, and it works with autism, ADHD. It basically connects your brain neurology to make it work better.
Yeah.
And give you access to all of what's going on. The body, the DID, wants to fight it, wants to deny it. You might think you're crazy, but you're just different.
Yeah.
I'm not broken anymore. I thought I was for most of my life, but I'm a beautiful mosaic. I put my pieces back together, and the light, the dark is all part of it.
Yeah. Sweet. And this is going to be a very irrelevant promo, but Encore every Wednesday for comedy.
Come and see us down there.
Yeah. See you later.
Beat the band.
Most definitely. That's tonight. So.
Righto. Thanks, Darcy. Really appreciate being here. Really appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
See you later.
See you later.
Thanks for listening. If this was interesting, tell me what you think in the comments. Just honestly, I'm really curious because for me, it was quite an eye-opening experience. Also, follow the short channel, which will just snip it into little bits if you want to see more of it later. Follow the normal channel. And, any other information you want to leave us, we'd love it. Cheers.